At just 20 years old, Leo had no money, no connections, and no guarantees in life. His family was struggling just to survive, but one decision, one risky step, changed everything. This is not just a story. This is proof that nothing in life is free. Leo lived in a small, quiet town surrounded by mountains. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other, and opportunities were rare. But inside Leo's heart lived a dream much bigger than that town. He wanted to become a successful entrepreneur. He dreamed of owning a chain of restaurants one day, not for luxury, not for fame, but to give his family a better life. Leo's father, Mark, worked as a mechanic. His hands were always stained with oil, and his body carried the weight of long, exhausting days. His mother, Claire, cleaned houses to make ends meet. She worked silently, never complaining, even when she returned home completely drained. And then there was Sophie, Leo's 10-year-old sister. To her, Leo wasn't just a brother. He was her hero. One cold evening, Leo sat outside their small house, staring up at the stars. The wind was quiet. The world felt still. He whispered to himself, "I want to give my family a better life. But how do I start when we barely have enough to survive?" The next day, Leo shared his thoughts with his father. Mark listened carefully. Then he sighed and said, "Leo, dreams are not free. If you want something, you have to fight for it. Start with what you have, even if it's small." Those words stayed with Leo. That night, as he walked through town, he noticed something simple but powerful. People loved fresh bread. But the nearest bakery was far away. Most families couldn't travel that distance every day. And that's when an idea struck him. What if he brought the bread to them? The idea sounded simple. But there was a problem. Leo had no money. Still, he decided to take a risk. Early the next morning, Leo walked miles to the bakery. It was owned by Mr. Anderson, a grumpy old man known for trusting no one. Leo stood in front of him, nervous but determined. "Mr. Anderson," Leo said, "I want to sell your bread in my town. I don't have money to pay up front. But if you trust me for 1 week, I'll sell the bread, return your money, and keep only a small profit." Mr. Anderson raised an eyebrow. "And why should I trust you, young man?" he asked. Leo looked him straight in the eyes and replied, "Because I'm determined, and I will work harder than anyone to prove myself." There was a long silence, one wrong answer, and this chance would disappear forever. Finally, Mr. Anderson said, "All right, I'll give you bread for 1 week. But if you fail to pay me back, don't bother coming here again." Leo could hardly believe it. Early the next morning, before the sun rose, Leo carried the bread back to his town. He set up a small stand near the park. With a smile, he greeted everyone who passed by. Fresh bread, warm and delicious. At first, people were hesitant. They didn't know him. They didn't know the bread. So Leo offered free samples. Slowly, one customer came, then another. By the end of the day, every loaf was sold. That evening, Leo walked back to the bakery and placed the money in Mr. Anderson's hands. The old man nodded. "You kept your word," he said. "Come back tomorrow." From that day on, Leo worked tirelessly. He woke up before sunrise, walked miles every day, carried heavy bread with aching hands. Some nights, he slept only 4 hours, but every loaf he sold felt like one step closer to his dream. After 2 months, Leo saved enough money to buy a small cart. It made his work easier and allowed him to sell more bread. One day a customer said, "Leo, you're great at selling, but if you bake your own bread, you'll earn much more." The idea excited him, but it also terrified him. Leo had never baked anything in his life. That night, he realized something important. Nothing is free, not success, not knowledge, not growth. If he wanted more, he had to learn. The next morning, Leo approached Mr. Anderson again. "Can you teach me how to bake?" he asked. Mr. Anderson frowned. "If I teach you, you won't buy from me anymore. That's bad for my business." Leo nodded. "You're right. But I'll never forget the man who gave me my first chance. If I succeed, I'll help your bakery too." Mr. Anderson thought for a moment. Then he said, "Fine. But baking isn't easy. It takes time, patience, and hard work." The lessons began at 3 a.m. Before the sun rose, Leo was already in the bakery. His hands hurt from kneading dough. His bread came out too hard, or too soft. One day, after ruining another batch, Leo sat on the floor, exhausted. "Maybe I'm not good enough," he whispered. "Maybe I should give up." Then he remembered his father's words. Dreams are not free. Every mistake was teaching him something. Giving up was not an option. 2 weeks later, Mr. Anderson handed Leo a loaf and said, "This is perfect. You're ready?" Leo rented a small oven and began baking at home. His family supported him in every way. Sophie helped pack the bread. His mother made tea late into the night. Soon, Leo wasn't just selling bread. He added cookies and pastries too. The town loved it. But just when things were going well, a new bakery opened, bigger, brighter, more colorful. It was run by a young man named Eric. Slowly, Leo's sales began to drop. Fear returned, but instead of panicking, Leo listened. He asked customers what they liked. Then he improved. He painted his cart, added decorations, learned cake designs by watching videos in the library. Customers returned. Then, one stormy night, smoke rose from Leo's bakery. A fire had started near the oven. Leo managed to stop it, but much of his equipment was destroyed. The next morning, people whispered, "Is this the end for Leo?" But Leo stood outside his bakery and said, "This is just another challenge. I won't give up." With help from the town, Leo rebuilt. Months later, his bakery reopened, better than ever. On opening day, the mayor said, "Leo, you are an inspiration." Leo smiled and said, "Nothing in life is free. Not success, not respect, not love. But if you're willing to work for it, everything is possible." If this story inspired you, comment, "Nothing is free," and share this with someone who needs motivation today.